the dynamics of a family. Either you're a son, a daughter, a mother, a father, a spouse. How do we go about traveling? How do we go about being and living with the family in every aspect? If you guys can share some insights on this, inshallah, would be great.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Implementing the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and bringing it into your life while keeping your family dynamics with you. Family is interesting and complicated. It's probably the last piece of the puzzle that most of us figure out in our lives, if we ever end up figuring it out. Because you have people who understand what you're doing, and then there are other people who don't understand what you're doing. And it's so hard to preach to them, it's so hard to teach anything to them. For students of knowledge and people who are trying to make that transition in their faith, that's actually the hardest part. You have an uncle who just doesn't get what you're doing. Like, whatever this is going on over here, you're crazy. You know what I'm talking about? You have like a brother or a sister or an aunt who doesn't get it. We all have those family members, by the way. If you're wondering, maybe the shuyukh here don't have that challenge. It's just a part of it. There are people who get it and there are people who don't get it. And the people who don't get it, in the best case scenario, they allow you to move along and make transition and go in a path that's appropriate for you. And then there are those who are not cool with that and they make it their life mission to almost sabotage you at every step. It's complicated, it's not easy. I think as you get older in life, one of the conversations that needs to occur is teaching the people around you to respect boundaries. It's part of like one of those, it's a rough conversation. If you don't have it when it's time to get married, you're gonna have it then. Or there are boundaries. That there are areas where you have to allow me to take the lead because I am an adult at this point. This isn't to call towards rebellion against family structure or to disrespect that. That's not what I'm saying, so please don't hear that. What I am saying though is that as you attend these halaqas and these gatherings, there will be a desire in your heart to do something. Like Mufti Abdul Rahman, when he was speaking right now, Sheikh Mikhail, today earlier when we got in the car to leave San Antonio, he mentioned this exact thing. He was talking about how it would be so awesome if Muslims focused on prophetic affirmations every morning to set their moral and spiritual compass straight every day. Is that right? That's what we're talking about, right? And as Sheikh Abdul Rahman was reading those du'as in the first one, أحق من ذكر أحق من عبد, right? That you are the one that is most deserving to be worshipped, the most deserving to be remembered. You are the one who's most deserving to be obeyed. These are prophetic affirmations, and after you go through that thought, if you go through those affirmations and those thoughts, naturally you will desire some form of change. So then those conversations happen with those who are around you. And I think this is an important one. Maybe if any of them Shaykh want to jump in here, but I'll kind of like volley it to you. That when you're engaging in change and when you're trying to bring some improvement in your life, be aware and careful of doing it in isolation without including those around you that are going to be impacted by it. You want to take it?
Bismillah, walhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Subhanallah, literally as you were saying it, it was on my mind. A lot of times we come from these conferences, we read a book, we listen to...
Mikhail, 1 second. That camera angle is bothering me, man. That barrier, look at it. It's like a barrier and Mufti Kamali's like you're not even in the picture.
What can we do, yo? What can we do?
We gotta figure something out.
It's for the people that are here. Bismillah, let's just keep going. We're good, yo.
Good.
Who said we don't do part?
We want people to know that that's there, yo. Yeah, you already know how it goes, Habibi, right? Come on. All right, listen. SubhanAllah, a lot of times we listen to great lectures, we sit in conferences, we get that motivational, spiritual high to change. And what happens is we fail to realize that there's a whole network of people around us and we make a very slight change, or sometimes sudden change, that throws everybody else off. And so it's critical, it's very critical that we include our family. I was thinking about Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam. "I'malu ala Dawood shukra." Like Dawood alayhi salatu wasalam was known in the Quran for the family engaging in gratitude and ibadah, not just isolated. One person sees it as their job to worship God. And I'm going to hit a chord here. A lot of men think it's their job to worship and not a woman's job to worship. You're here to just support my worship. That's ghalat, man. That's incorrect. No, straight up. I'm not just saying it for the clap from this side of the room. I'm saying it because it's important.
They're not clapping because of your statement. They're clapping because of your Urdu word. They said, earlier today,
Arabic word. It's an Arabic word. Ghalat, man. Ghalat.
So you said ghalat. Like, you said ghalat.
I never fit in. See why I gave the talk I gave? Ain't never enough. Learned your language, still don't love me. It's all good. Can I finish my train of thought? Listen, this is clutch. It's so important that we make change together. I've seen families that prioritize the mother's worship and make it a part of the entire house's worship. And Dawood would set time for each person, alayhi salam, to worship in the house. And so my point, and I'll be brief, my point is that as we want to make change, we need to discuss it together. We can't just hear a lecture, hear it in isolation. All of a sudden, Baba came in the house and threw the TV out. Like, what just happened? What did you hear a lecture or something? What's wrong with, that's not hikmah. That's not hikmah. That's going to create a hatred in the other people's heart because they haven't made the change you changed. When I converted to Islam 20 years ago, I didn't know this wisdom. I changed and I thought everyone should get it. And I left people behind. And qadarullah masha'a, whatever happens, but we have to be more wise as a family, that we all prioritize each other's ibadah. The next thing is we need to have a code of what's it called for a business that they put on the top, that the business runs by? Mantra? No, not mantra. Core values. The family needs core values. The family needs core values that you actually talk about. I know it sounds like some woke Western American stuff. I know, I don't care. Judge me all you want. But you have core values. Your organization has core values. Adam has core values. Your family needs core values. And they're not given. They're not ordained. Like the dad comes in and is like, the core values of this family are. No. Core values are discussed. What are we going to prioritize in our family? And so you may be hearing this lecture with your rest of your family around, or maybe not, right? Actually, most of this group is actually young. We're talking about family as if they're college students. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is you really need to work as a team. When growth is happening, let the whole team grow together. Let the whole family grow together. Prioritize everyone's ibadah. Mufti said something great. Boundaries, 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 boundaries. I'm not going to open this can of worms, but the nuclear family to the brothers is your first priority. Like, you got to take care of those who you'll be asked about, who are under you or like depend on you. And a lot of times, I just had a conversation. Man, I don't know if we can go there. I think they're gonna judge me hard. I just had a conversation with a sister who was in tears because of how her mother-in-law treats her like a slave. Yeah, y'all don't want to talk about that, do you? Because the brother's like, oh, that's my mom. It's off limits. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Bro, that's your responsibility, not hers. That's not hers. It's not hers. I don't care what culture you came from. I don't care what Hindu things you brought over to Islam. That's not Islamic. It's your responsibility to take care of your mother, not her responsibility. If she does it, okay. She's a great woman, and you better be appreciative. But stop acting like that's her wajibat of the Sharia. And I'm not trying to throw your whole family structure off, but you need to have a legitimate conversation about these things and respect the pressure, man. It's hard to switch gears. It's hard to walk in a home, be a mother, then be a wife, and then be a daughter-in-law. It's hard to switch those gears, right? And so I just want us to have really clear conversations about the expectations we have from each other and to the sisters. So this isn't one-sided. Brothers are breaking their backs to make a living. For that huge house, you're just chilling. You pressing buttons, cars start.
All right, guys, clap you. This is your moment.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, there you go. I need to come down.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, brothers are working. Me and my wife, like, in the nighttime, like, what she does, she shares memes with me. So, like, that's our, like love language. Because I don't got time to check the memes.
This is an all moment, by the way.
So what she'll do, she'll catch me up on all the memes. And it's just like a bond. Everyone does this. It's not just me. Everyone does this. Yeah. I'm talking about, like, normal people. So I saw this meme where this guy's working all hard, and it's like, he picks up the phone, and it says, like, I can't remember exactly, I'm not good with memes, whatever, but it's like, never mind, I can say it. But it's just basically like, he's working, he's breaking his back to earn a living, and she's calling, like, oh, you're never home. He's like, yo, you see that house you living in, that big T? Like, what are we doing? Why am I saying this? For mutual respect on both sides. That's it. That's it. I just want the balance. That man is working hard. Please give him some love, appreciation. Like, yo. And then on the other side, like, please respect, have love. Sorry to be long-winded. Just some thoughts on the family stuff.
You know, I just wanted to say something here real quick, because you know that the point Sheikh Mikhail made a moment ago, that guys, it's your mother, and you have to take responsibility of your mother. Some of you may have viewed that as a slogan of feminism. And then the round of applause that followed by the sisters may have reaffirmed that. I just wanted to step in to second that voice, and if the Mashayikh feel comfortable doing that, I mean, I'll let them as well. This is not a slogan. Do you guys understand this? This is a reality. No one is saying that you should not pay attention to your extended family.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not saying that. What he is saying is that serving my parents is an obligation on me primarily. In Islamic law, we have a system through which we are able to associate rulings and emphasis on rulings. That this is necessary, this is preferred, this is prohibited, this is disliked. When it comes to, if you go to any legal scholar and you go to any fiqh manual and try to search up the ruling on a woman serving her mother and father-in-law, I'm telling you, it doesn't exist there. The ruling doesn't exist. It's not like they even say it's, it's farad or it's wajib. It doesn't exist, it's not there. That doesn't mean it shouldn't exist, because there's urf in our deen as well, right? There's culture. We all understand that we look after each other's families. But what Sheikh Mikhail is saying here is that those boundaries need to be set, and you're the one that needs to set them. Because you're the closest person that can set it. Like, for example, if a couple are having dinner together and the mother-in-law was there and she prepared this meal together and she forgot to put salt in the dal. Now, there are two scenarios. Scenario one is that this new daughter-in-law says, "Namak nahi hai." There's no salt. The mother-in-law flipped the table and you said, "What? There's no salt in there. Get out of my house." Second scenario, she texts her husband that, there's no salt. He says, "Mama, there's no salt." She grabs the salt and gives it to him. Here you go. It's a communication.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah. Again, I don't want to sound. I just think there's Islamic rights that a husband has on his wife. The Prophet spoke specifically about obedience, listening to him, and respect. But here's the thing: how's she gonna respect you when you're letting your mother run all over her? You're not standing up. No. But did you hear how I prefaced it? The right of the husband has on the wife is obedience, right? So I'm gonna say the other side: obedience. Literally, the Prophet said, "Listen to him." Literally, he said, "Listen." So I'm speaking up for the brothers, but at the same time, sisters, your husband does have a right of obedience, right? And respect and honor and veneration and asking. Thank you. Do I gotta keep saying stuff? But let me say something. Hold on. We are partners. We work together. We're not, this is not healthy. Exactly. Mufti. It's important that we work together. وَلَا تَنْسَوْا الْفَضْلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. We are families that work together. I brought this up because there are a lot of people that suffer with this problem. Now, to those who do it, like, selflessly, you are working for the highest levels of Jannah. I will say, like, there are sisters that are working hard to take care of a whole family, and my heart goes out to them. They are gaining their Jannah, no doubt, but they need appreciation. And I just wanted to balance the conversation. That's all.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Can I ask how people are married in the audience?
Thank you. Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to shift gears.
Thank you.
I'm going to shift gears. You know the gears because it's about family. How many people have brothers and sisters, siblings? Raise your hands. Okay, how many people's siblings are sitting next to you or here? You guys stand up. Stand up. Go ahead. All right. Give your sister or brother next to you, give them a hug.
They're not good.
No, give them a hug. All right, I didn't say talk. I said give them a hug. All right, you know why I'm saying that? Because, all right.
Bismillah, guys.
MashaAllah, they never got a hug in a long time. They're excited. That's what happened. So, when Mufti Wahab first brought this question up, the first thing that came to my mind is this culture of the kids of nowadays, right? The teenagers growing up. The closest friends of yours are the ones who are not in your family. So your best friend is somebody else, then somebody else. So many times you just walk by your sister's room, your older sister, your older brother, younger sister, your brother, not knowing what's going on in their life. This right here needs to change today.
Yes.
Because we need everyone. Listen, I'll be honest. I'm going to be very straight. Look, growing up, we grew up and raised in this country. My best friend was my older brother, Sheikh Abdullah. He was my best friend. He's not here. And he was also very tough on me. He was extremely tough, right? And if it wasn't for his toughness, his love, his compassion, and he's still tough. He'll come into our madrasa or miftah once in a while. He says, "I'm firing you." I said, "I'm fired. Go ahead." What's gonna happen now? So this love between brothers. Like I remember when my brother passed away, we were 5 brothers. Wallahi, most of the emails and text messages I got were, this janazah taught me to now reach out to my brother again, to my sister again. Your best friend has to be your blood sibling, brother and sister. Mufti Hussain has a brother, Mubin. He's so close. And you know what? They're not going to be perfect. But it's your responsibility. Umar ibn al-Khattab had a brother. You know what his name was? Zayd. He only has 2 things written about him in the entire books of history. 2 things. Umar ibn al-Khattab, every other story among the Sahaba is about him. So there's one brother who's like this, and the other brother nobody even knows about. That does not change how he looks at his older brother. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That doesn't change anything. You could become like my brother is becoming an orthopedic surgeon. I'm older than him. If he tomorrow graduates and he looks at me as lower than him, I'll show him where he belongs. I'll send him right back where he came from. Right? So this is Umar ibn Khattab and Zayd. And check this out, in the Battle of Yamama, Umar ibn Khattab was, of course, they're too busy. And this is, okay, I'll say one more thing, I'll go back. Khalid bin Walid said the only strategic military mistake he ever made in his life was in the Battle of Yamama. You understand what he said? You know what his mistake was? His mistake that he said was that I started lining people up in the different rows, not considering blood. Brothers, family, because of course now we're all Sahaba. Habibi, if I'm standing here in the battlefield and my brother is right next to me, there's a different level. There's a different level. If I'm playing ball, and I'm playing with my homies, if one of my homies gets fouled hard, it's going down. If some guy I don't like gets fouled hard, I'm like, I'll tell the other guys, it's all right, man, it's cool. Foul him harder. You understand what I'm saying? It changes the entire competition. It changes everything. So Khalid bin Walid said that this was his strategic, and he changed it 2 days later. Okay, so now that he changed it, he put everyone back in relatives, families, tribes, like that. They won. Umar ibn Khattab now is searching for his brother. Okay, his own brother. First is your brother. Of course, we're talking about the entire community is our brother. We know that for sure. But we undermine siblings a lot in our community. A lot. So then he finds his brother laying among the shuhada. And there's only two things mentioned about him. And both those things are mentioned in this story. He grabs his brother's head, he puts it on his lap, and he starts weeping, literally weeping. And he starts cleaning his brother's face. Don't appreciate your loved ones after it's too late. Because either you're going to bury them or they're going to bury you. That's what's going to happen. Go to prisons. Go visit people in prisons. No, none of their homies come to see them. It's usually that old lady, the old man, the brother. All their friends are flakers. They fall apart. It's people who are blood that finally come to see you. Go to graveyards, cemeteries. We go to my brother's grave all the time. It's only people who are from your family, your loved ones. Those are the ones who are going to come see you. So why are you going to appreciate them after why are you going to miss them like that afterwards? You got to invest in that relationship. And then it has nothing to do with deen, like, oh, I'm going to make him a Muslim, make him better. No, there's a different level here. So Umar al-Khattab then puts his brother's hand in his lap, cleans his face from the dirt, from the dust, from the blood, and he starts weeping. And he says, Ya akhi, laqad sabaqtani marratain. You beat me twice. Sabaqtani ila al-Islam wa sabaqtani ila shahada. He said, you beat me to Islam and you beat me to martyrdom. Right? This is what he said about his brother. So I tell all of you sitting here right now, don't beat, if your older sister, I don't care how known she is, she's still your older sister. Doesn't matter how known she is, she's still your older sister. And I don't care how known your older brother is, they're still your older brother. There's a level of respect here. Hassan and Hussein, radiallahu anhuma. There's a level of respect. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, all the brothers, there's among the Sahaba, the group of Sahaba were not just people, abstract people. They were people who lived together, blood, and they respected and appreciated each other. So have this among you in your community right now, all young people. Don't make sure your best friend is that. Mufti Kamani, his brother, I'm sure they're very close. I know that. People see us Wahid brothers, say mashallah. Because they see us and we're very close. And I look at brothers, I say, you guys are missing out. Seriously. You're missing out on what real love is. You know, you of course we have friends, we're not loners. You know, we have friends, right? Right? Maybe, inshallah. So
Hey guys, my brother ever forgets about me, remind him about this day right here. If he ever gives me a hard time, this is it.
So that's all. Since we talked about marriage for so long, I wanted to shift the focus towards, if your brother or sister don't live with you, you know, don't just look at the pictures of when you were children, you know? Oh my, we're so cute. No, don't do that. Call him. Call her. Make it a point. Make it a point to call each other. Say, how you doing? I love you. I remember I'm missing you. Like this, the family, because the family structure in this country is dying completely. Okay? You cannot, honestly, it doesn't matter how much resources, Miftah, Qalam, all these organizations are out there, but if the family structure is gone, then you're working on shelves. And we need pearls and oysters to work on. And that pearl is formulated in the oyster of a family.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. So beautiful. You know, like he said right now that the structure of family is deteriorating in the Western world. I couldn't agree anymore with that. Yesterday we talked about this in San Antonio, that the reality is that Muslims might be the last frontier for the system of family in the West. We might find ourselves there one day. That we are the last people of religion, Christians and Muslims, and Allah give hidayah to the Christians and the Jews and other faiths, but I think Muslims, we might be the last frontier there. And there's a whole lecture, there's a whole thought process behind this. So what Sheikh Abdul Rahman was saying right now about investing in your family and making them a priority, I couldn't agree any more than that. You know, like if you ask a mother or a father, what's the greatest gift your child can give you, I can tell you they would say the greatest gift is to see them love their sibling. You know, when a mom sees her daughter buy her sister a gift, she smiles. Kuch to samajh aayi. At least this person understood something. When Ali and Imad are walking together, like, their mom's behind, like, those are my two lions over there. Look at that. These guys, like, they're holding the fort down together. It makes moms happy. It makes dads happy. It's the best gift you can give them. I'm telling you, I got kids at home. When I walk past a room and I see two of them playing together, it makes me happy. But when I see the third is alone, it breaks my heart. And the first thing I say is, include him as well in some capacity. Okay, you can be the banker. Monopoly. But, I have to say the but here. We also have to realize, specifically for those of us that are older in age, or maybe in the 20s, not all sibling relationships have a romantic ending. And it's not ideal. No one wants it to be like that, but it's reality. There are situations, and they're not few, they're not scattered, they're actually they're here. They're here with us, all of us. Where there are some relationships that are easier to maintain, and others they'll suck the joy out of you. They'll suck the happiness out of you. Sometimes the greatest bully and oppressor in your life is your sibling, and you're locked to them by a chain of relationships. So every time you try to say something, everyone guilts you because religiously you are required to be dutiful to your family members. It stinks. It really does. When the one that hurts you the most is your sister, when the one that hurts you the most is your brother. When they're the ones that don't understand you, when they're the ones that turn against you. You know, when a person goes through a divorce, and I know we're not married here, that's clear, right? There are a lot of young single people here. But if you ever meet with people, you talk to people who've gone through a divorce, and you ask them, and I'm an imam, so I've had these conversations. What was the hardest part of it? They say the hardest part was, even for a single moment, if it was true and my sibling took the other person's side. That hurt me the most. And I'm not sure if I can forgive that. I'm not sure if I can overlook it. And I know there's a lot of bias built into this and a lot of emotion built into it. Some of us have phenomenal relationships with our siblings and others don't. So for those of you that struggle with this, when it comes to any aspect of family, what I want to tell you is try your best. Your best doesn't mean that you need to be vulnerable, that you need to allow yourself to be abused. Your best means that you set boundaries. Your best means that you allow people to know that there are things they can do, there are things they can't do. Unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluman. Your best means that you don't absolutely cut off unless the violations, they deserve that. Your best is that you say your salams, you send your gifts. You let the other person know that you're there, and that if they're struggling, you show up to be there for them. That you give your du'as, you send your Eid gifts, that you're involved there. But at the same time, I know there are those of you sitting here who are probably thinking, man, this relationship that Chef's talking about having with his sibling is so awesome. I wish I could have that, right? And if your situation is such that you can't have that, I want you to instill values in tomorrow's family that you are the head of, to have those values. This right here is the ideal. This is the sunnah that he's talking about. We are scattered because of our broken state and aspire to reach that sunnah. So I just wanted to give that voice to those out there who kind of feel like, man, I wish I had that. And maybe there was a burning sensation in your heart that you're not alone. We have those amazing relationships, and then there are some relationships that take a toll on you. Just do your best, man. Do your best. Wallahu alam.
Regarding the sibling, you mentioned our friends over there and different families that stay together. When I converted, one of the things that was most powerful that I fell in love with was Muslim families. And maybe I romanticized it because I was converting and made it better than it actually was. But it was just so beautiful. It was so beautiful to see the love, see families living together. Before converting, I was 18 when I converted. So, the biggest thing when you turn 18 in a American household, you just move out for no reason either. You just move out to an apartment. You're in the apartment. You don't even know. I ate ramen noodles for months and months. But I had my own place. right? It's foolish, right? Even, and I know now because of the economy, that's kind of even changing. But my point is, it was so beautiful. And then as I learned more about Islamic culture, the concept of Baji, the oldest sister, the respect she has, or what is it, Baijan, right? The respect that Baijan has, it's so beautiful. No, seriously, right? That connection, that relationship, I just always felt it was such a beautiful institution. And I cannot lie, it was one of the things that just showed me the beauty of our deen, that the family was so sacred, right? And so when you spoke about siblings, I have 3 little ones, right? And so when you see them fight, I'm like, man, like, you guys are like each other's back. Like, you guys gotta take care of each other. You can't, and of course they're small, so it's normal. But I just wanted to second that. It's one of the most beautiful things of our deen is that family sibling relationship.
Sheikh, you mentioned the Baji thing. I'm going to conclude over here, but one of the things I read recently is that back in the 70s and 80s, the culture, the Western culture was you would never call someone by their first name. Okay. It was a respect factor. It was like Mr. Smith. Yeah. Sheikh Mikael and me, we were crossing the border from Canada to America. And it was me, him, and 2 other people. And Sheikh Mikael, 1 hour away from the border, he's like, yo, Mufti. You gonna wear that turban when you cross the border?
Well, why I didn't say that.
Okay, you said something like that. And I was like, you said something about my turban. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I wear this all the time and stuff like that. So he's like, oh man, he has a flight to catch and he has a burger to eat. Remember that burger? And we never get pulled in ever. Like it's been years. So I'm telling him like, oh, it's been years. I've never got in this that. Then we get pulled in and say, oh, you guys gotta go inside. And we were hungry. And so I told Sheikh when we were coming inside, I said, Sheikh, those burgers, they don't let you cross the border with the burgers. That's all he was thinking was, like, damn, my burgers, man. They're gone. They're gone. They're good burgers. And so when we get inside, Sheikh, like, I can't see what was in his heart, but the way he was looking at me was like, I was the reason why he's there. Okay? Because apparently I was the only one dressed like this. So he's looking at me. So you know how he gets when he gets stressed out? He takes his glasses off.
It's not true.
He does that. He starts opening his sleeves, his now it's going all the way here. He's getting stressed out. So, and then we're all sitting there for like 15 minutes. Hey, let me finish.
You see where I talk about marginalized people again?
Okay, here.
There you go.
Sheikh, let me finish. Wallah, I wasn't thinking about this, but what happened was, we're sitting down, and the guy for 15 minutes, and I can tell by the way he's looking at me, he's blaming me. The guy comes to the counter, he's like, Mr. Smith. And we all look at Sheikh Mikael, I'm like, what the heck? It was the only like, we were all bases. It was the only American.
I was the only one. I was the reason we were pulled into custody.
It was the only marginalized person.
That's the only part of that story that I remember the way he said it. But I'm happy I heard it because now I appreciate the perspective and how you felt.
When listening becomes hearing.
This is good. This is when hearing becomes listening. Right? This is it. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
This is my point.
What is your point? Yeah. What is your point?
So, in the 70s and 80s, we would go by, it was written that you go by your last names out of respect. And then all of a sudden, people are being called by their first name. Like, who are you to call me by my first name? Relax, Before it was like, sir, there's always a sir. And even in the military, you have these different titles. So, and then there's another reason for that. I was reading that the last name is because now you're not just representing yourself, you're representing your family. So when you're walking around like Mr. Kamani, you're thinking about your father, your mother, your brother, you're thinking about everybody now. So you're just imagine someone calls you Mr. Muhammad, So now you're thinking like, oh, I have to represent the Prophet over here, right? Iqbal, he would not call his servant, his servant of the house, his name was Muhammad Bakhsh. And he would only call his servant Muhammad Bakhsh when he was in wudu. Otherwise, he would only say Bakhsh when he was not in wudu. Out of respect. So, in this culture of like Baijan, Bai, Baji, Api, Apa, it's a very good culture. Names also make a difference. Put some respect on people's names.
Yeah.
Sheikh Mikael.
Hold on. There's a saying, an African saying, which is, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together.
Wow.
As we wrap it up, inshallah, I want to mention one thing. As I was listening to all the mashayikh and just watching them, mashallah, this is enjoyable. Every sad story in the Qur'an is a story of a family member losing a family member. Nothing else. A sad story is of Nuh losing his son. A sad story is Ibrahim losing his father. A sad story is Lut losing his wife. Every sad story in the Qur'an that brings a tear to your eye is actually a family member missing out on a family member. Brother, sister, mother, father, spouse. And in Ibn Kathir, the story mentions that when Yusuf a.s. was finally reunited with his family, someone asked him, what was the hardest moment in your life? What was the most difficult part of this entire journey? He says, Firaq akhi Binyamin, the separation of my brother Binyamin. And he proved that, or rather the Mufassir proves that by saying that the first thing he had asked for when he saw his family was, where's my brother at? He says, where is my brother? And he went above and beyond to have his brother stay with him, to a point that he deceived the entire caravan by putting a cup inside of their baggage and luggage so that his brother could stay with him. This is how the family structure of the Qur'an is. There is no sad story of a friend losing a friend. Yes, friends are like siblings, of course. We believe in that as well. That's an absolute truth. But the balance of life is very important. No one can say that they have good character if the lady or the brother at Tim Hortons says that they're nice people. Rather, good character is that the person that lives with you can say that you have good character. One of my brothers once said, I'm not sure if Sheikh Rahman or Sheikh Abdullah, after my brother left this world, he said, we used to think that you're very dynamic, that if in 5 minutes you can make someone love you. That is a dynamic personality, is it not? Right? Sheikh Mikael, Mufti Kamani, mashallah. Within 5 minutes, someone can love you. Wow, you're so charismatic. You're so talented with your words. You're so good with the way your body language is. 5 minutes, people like you. That's not good character. Good character is that after 50 years, someone can say that I still love you. That was Mufti Rahman, right? That was one of my brothers after my brother Rahman left this world, and his point was, and he can comment on this because he's here, but his point was that people don't, and he said the statement at the end of it, he actually says that, no, I think, I'm pretty sure it was him. It was one of my bajans, right? In my entire life, when I was young, if I accidentally said one of my older brother's names, it was like almost like a curse word, right? And now, if I say their name, it's a curse word for me. That I feel like, how can I disrespect them? It was a culture that was created, not by force, but through love. That even my father, to bring that into the family, he would call my older brother by his name, Bajan, to make sure that we call him that way. And that's the way it's always been. It doesn't matter whose spouse comes in the picture, Bajan is who? Bajan. Mufti Kamani is right. There are situations where there's oppression, but those situations are situations. We don't give rulings based on exceptions. We give rulings based on the default. The default in America, the reason why we suffer is because we start giving rulings based on exceptions. Let exceptions be exceptions. Do not use an exception to create the rule. Any system that uses that will always fail because they are themselves compromised. They're coming to you at a place that they're using their bias as an exception to create a rule. The rule remains a rule. That a mother is a mother, a father is a father. وَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. Which means that even if they tell you to become a mushrik, you stay quiet and you respect them. The simple logic of analogical reasoning from that is even if your older sibling or an elder in your family says something to you, you don't have to follow them, you don't have to obey them, but the level of respect should not decay in front of them. Doesn't mean you listen. In our life, we've allowed listening to be synonymous to obeying. Hence, we don't listen anymore. Because we think whoever we're listening to, we have to obey them. You don't have to obey the mother-in-law or daughter-in-law, but you have to listen because she's an elder. You don't have to obey the person, but you have to listen to the person. Obedience is a byproduct of listening. Obedience is a byproduct of listening. But listening comes first. There are many people who listen but don't obey. This is what the people of Jahannam would say, that we wish we actually listened correctly. قَالُوا لَوْ كُنَّا نَسْمَعُ. We wish we listened. One group will say, سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. We listen and we obey, because it's a byproduct. Others will say, سَمِعْنَا وَعَصَيْنَا. We listen but we disobey. This is Imam Mikhail's entire book right there, because you should buy it right now. But the point of all of that is, is that there is a set rule. Do not let someone else's situation of oppression and struggle cloud your judgment of how to deal with your situation, and your siblings, and your parents, and your spouses. Everyone's situation is different. This is why in America we have so many different ideologies and isms, because we all want to feel like we're the normal person, because we feel afraid of being different. And the Prophet told us, being different is actually what the beauty is in. You're beautiful because you're different. Your situation with your family is your family. It's your situation. No sheikh like any of us have the right to tell you anything else. What we can tell you is that this is the default rule. The exceptions remain exceptions. They will never become the rule, because God didn't create us that way. May Allah make us amongst those that can be a part of the rule, and He can make us amongst those that can show love to our entire community, our neighbors, our siblings, our families. Every person in the masjid feels loved because of who we are and because of what we're able to embody, and allow us to be amongst those communities that the non-Muslims look at, like how Imam Mikhail said, that when I became Muslim, it was a family structure that made me fall in love with Islam. May Allah make us amongst those people. And inshallah, ask Mufti Rahman and Mufti Kamali to end with a closing dua, inshallah ta'ala. By the way, before he makes dua, I want to say thank you to all the volunteers, all the people who helped us today to have this beautiful event. Takbir. Houston showed up. We had more than 1,000 people that signed up for this event, came to this event, and a difficult day. It's a Saturday. There's parking issues. There's challenges. Allah bless you for staying so late as well. Allah bless all the partners, all the sponsors. Jazakallahu khair.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad, Allahumma waffiqna lima tuhibbu wa tarda. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this gathering, everything we heard. May He accept it from us, overlook our insincerity, and grant us tawfiq to do amal upon everything we learn. May Allah Azza wa Jalla allow the prophetic example to exist in every aspect of our life. May He allow our relationships to flourish and allow us to overlook the shortcomings of those that we love. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us a life of bliss and happiness. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.